Good day to Miss Vani and fellow friends. Myself, Jananishri and Rebecca are here to present to you all a video. This video is about domestic violence in Malaysia. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Sandalafami and I'm doing this video together with my partner Jananishri. We are here to spread the awareness to everyone about domestic violence through this video. Domestic violence is a pattern of violence, abuse, or intimidation used to control or maintain power over a partner who is or has been in an intimate relationship. Fundamentally, domestic violence is about power and control. There are various forms of domestic violence, including physical, emotional, psychological, sexual, social, financial abuse. Abusers often use more than one form of abuse to invoke fear a partner into behaving in ways they don't want to.
There are a few types of domestic violence, which can be classified as physical violence, verbal abuse, and many more. And now we are going to see about that. Here we have a few types of domestic violence. The first one is physical violence. Physical violence is when someone uses an object to control the other person's actions. The next, we have sexual violence. Sexual violence is when a person is forced unwillingly into a sexual activity. The next one, we have verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is the use of foul language to harm an individual mentally. And the last one, we have psychological violence. Psychological violence is when someone uses threats and causes fear in one person. There are actually a few ways to address domestic violence that we are not well aware of. And now we are going to learn a few ways of it. And the first one of it can be we can look out for family who have violent family life. These are kind of people who were abused as children or they have seen abuse and they have learned that violence is one of an acceptable behavior. Using forces or violence to solve problem is a way to address domestic violence. The person with a criminal record who gets into fight or acts tough is likely to act the same way with their partner or family. Another way to address domestic violence is to look out for people who abuse alcohol or drugs. It is important to watch out for people with drinking or drug problems, especially if the person refuses to admit their problem and to seek help from professionals to overcome their problem. Another way to address domestic violence is to look out for people who have problems with jealousy. The person wants to keep tabs on you and wants to know where you are at all times. He or she may want to spend most of their time with you, and this person might make it hard for you to find or keep a job or even go to school. Another way to address domestic violence is to look out for people who has access to guns or other weapons. These people may threaten you to use a weapon against you when you do not listen to them. Another way of addressing domestic violence around us is when a person or a partner is expecting you to always follow his or her order and advice. This person might get angry if you don't fulfill his or her wishes and anticipate his or her wants. This person is the person who always controls money when it comes to a relationship. Another way to address domestic violence around us is to look out for people who has very high emotionals and low emotionals. This person can be very kind one day and cruel the next. This kind of people are quite dangerous to be around. Another way we can address domestic violence is where a person fears his or her anger. This is where the person changes their behavior because they are afraid of the other person's reaction. The last but not least way to address domestic violence is to look out for people who receive rough treatment. This is where the person has used physical force trying to get you to do something you do not want to do, or even they may go to the level to threaten you with your family members. The last but not least way to address is when a person is being blocking the aid of the other person. This is where the person may prevent you from calling for help or getting any medical care when you are a victim of domestic violence. There are a lot of cases on domestic violence during the COVID-19 lockdown. But before we get into the details, let's now watch a video.
As you see in this video, these are the main domestic violence that usually happen almost every day around this world. There are more than 1 million people become the victim of domestic violence because of the conflict that happen in house, which leads to physical abuses, verbal abuses, and child abuses will make children who saw this to become mentally affected. And students who get bullied in school can't concentrate on their studies and fear to go to school. Sexual harassment among children more often happen nowadays, especially at this COVID-19 pandemic season. Here are some of the real news that regarding to domestic violence in these past 2 years during lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic. As more domestic violence cases arise day by day, is that important for our government and the court to apply acts of law throughout Malaysia? Well, yes, because according to the Act, it defines the domestic violence as an attack against someone by any other person with whom that they are presently or have been in domestic relationship. It also provides protection for victims of domestic violence and seeks to punish the perpetrators of such crimes.
Now, let's see what are the domestic violence acts we have in Malaysia. The first one is Act 521, which is an act that provides legal protection in situation of domestic violence for women and any other person in matters incidental thereto. The second act is A1538. This act is also for every Malaysian.
As a conclusion, Through making this video, we gained a lot of information regarding the facts on domestic violence. With this information, we can avoid being a victim of domestic violence and help those who are in need.
Now we have come to the end part of the video. After watching this video, I am very sure that you might have known a few ideas about domestic violence. So, thank you for watching and have a good day.